Every day we have to accept a degree of risk to secure the reward. We need to produce pressure vessels, boilers, repair ships. Every day we carry out high-risk work, so hazards need to be managed. To summarise, hazards need humans to create risk. We have to identify the hazards. Risk is measured. We have to consider how likely harm could occur and how severe the harm may be. At Lyttelton Engineering, our risk assessments consider what level of risk we can tolerate for the reward. Without control measures, risks and hazards would not be tolerable. Risks need to be reasonable and acceptable. Think about driving. You need a valid licence, warrant of fitness, observing speed limits, driving to the conditions, a well-maintained car. These are all reasonable control measures that allow us to accept risk. We measure likelihood and consequence using a multicoloured matrix. You can see in the animation, likelihood is down the left-hand side of the matrix. It goes from rare, it will never happen, to almost certain, in the next few minutes something bad's going to happen. Consequences along the top goes from minor to catastrophic. A minor injury might be a paper cut. Then you scale up, serious broken bones, catastrophic, death. A risk score of 25 is bad, 1 is good, or red is bad, blue is good. Below the blue line, the risk is tolerable and controlled. Above the blue line, the risk is not tolerable. We reduce the risk score or go from red to blue by adding control measures. If we look at a hazard, welding, grinding, cutting, without control measures, the risk score is very high or up in the red zone. By adding control measures, we'll bring the risk score down to a tolerable level. These will be hot work training, hot work permit, flammable materials removed, fire watch, local exhaust ventilation, a welding helmet with a filtered air respirator, a permit, overalls, gloves, safety boots. All of the above are robust control measures. Like all businesses, we use software and computers. We record our risk assessments in a piece of software called Mango. There's an illustration on screen now. You can see we've named the hazard, what could go wrong, who could get hurt, what the consequences might be. There's a raw risk score, that's risk without any control measures. Then we add some control measures, which gives us a tolerable risk score, much lower, and the work is controlled. Let's recap, thinking about the use of an overhead crane. If the risk isn't controlled, there could be serious consequences, death. Cranes are used frequently, therefore the likelihood will be high. Robust control measures are needed to prevent harm, meaning risk will be controlled. The next definition to be considered relates to critical risk. A critical risk is any hazard that could cause permanent or temporary harm, disabling harm, or death. You will be exposed to many critical risks and hazards that could seriously injure you, cause illness, or death. These include the overhead crane, hot work, welding, grinding, hazardous substances, chemicals, gases, working at height, confined space, and welding fumes. We're going to look at the controls for these risks, but before we do, I just want to explore noise hazards and driving for work. Loud noise can cause hearing damage if you're exposed for a long period of time. So what could go wrong? Hearing loss, maybe even poor communication. Who could get hurt? Anybody that works at Lyttelton Engineering. How badly? Long-term hearing damage. The risk without any control measure is 20, up in the red zone. We put some control measures in place and reduce the risk to tolerable, controlled, get on with the job. Many of you will drive for work either a ute or a van. What could go wrong? Speeding, fatal collision, damage to reputation. Who could get hurt? Any Lyttelton Engineering employee, other drivers, pedestrians, members of the public. The consequences, or how bad? Death. The raw risk score without controls is 15, nearly at the red zone. To bring it down to the blue, we put control measures in place. These are just 2 examples of how we manage the risks for noise and driving. Let's have a break and do a knowledge check. Here are some questions.